G'day folks. Well, over the years we have filmed hundreds of incredibly talented people across the world. Many of these artists have gone on to produce their own videos as well. We hope you enjoy this great lesson from one of our Colour in Your Life artists.
Hi guys, Shirley Peters here. Thank you for joining me on number 2 video. It's the time where the block-in's already been done and now the hard work where you put in the bones of the painting. It's the main part. So I hope you enjoy watching it. Hit like and subscribe if you do, that'd be fantastic. And I'll catch you at the end.
Now, coming back here, I just need to check which parts have dried. It's been an hour and some of the white's still wet. Some of the thicker parts I've placed there are still wet, so I'm just going to have to work around those, even though I said before, got to be totally dry. I make exceptions. Tell lies sometimes. Now, that means I'm going to start putting in some detail. Going to dig into this white a little bit. Straighten the back of that dam up. Something about when you've got water, you do need some straight lines sometimes. Right, I'll put the white out. I'll put a lot of white out. And what other colours will I need? Kind of need some peachy colours for that water, the rocks behind. Oops. Okay. Get rid of all the white. Get a peachy colour out. I'll put it in amongst the browns there. When I'm putting these colours onto a palette, on the whole I try and keep the cools in one side and the warms on the other. You end up not getting too much cross-contamination that way. A little bit more helpful than just putting them in a random place. Now, I'm just going to start by doing some detail that I think might help with the idea of what's out there. Like, I'm just going to put some rocks in here. And they're not all the same colour, so the main thing is to always vary your colours, just don't always do the same all over the place. And if you do end up putting, like I've just done 2 or 3 of the same, I'll go back with another colour and tap over the top of them. There's a couple more over here. Just put them in fairly loosely there. Now, just got this reflection in the water behind there that I want to put in. So it is paler. Sometimes you'll find reflections are darker, sometimes they're paler. And I personally have not found a rule of thumb. At the moment, that reflection is a lot paler than the roof than behind, because it's not an exact mirror. It's inflicting its own tones, and there's a lot of mud and light brown in that water, so it's inflicting that on the back. So I'm just going to mix up a little bit of slightly paler than what's there, than what's at the back. Going to go even lighter. Run that across. Water's always challenging. I love it, but it's just a little bit of a challenge. So I'm going to put that edge. Getting to think it's the opposite. I should be doing the opposite. I should be putting darker below. So I'll just mix up a touch of green over here while I'm there. I do tend to jump around a painting a lot. I do a little bit here, a little bit there. I'm not a very start one side and go right through type of person. You can do that at the end. Once you've decided you're finished and you want to start adding really fine detail, then you can work from left to right or right to left or whatever. But at this early stage where I'm still adding detail, just checking to see that my sound's working. So there's greenery over here as well. using flat brush sometimes, like not painting neatly, just putting it on the side. One thing to remember is always to load your brush up with a lot of paint. One of the things that when you're a beginner painter, you tend to wet the paint and you put it on thin, you put it on thin, you put it on thin, the whole painting ends up too thin. So what you need to do is just load the brush with thick paint. Apply it like that, tap it in, and then just let the little lumps and bumps sit there. Don't go back in and smooth them out. Just let them sit. So because I've got random bits of grass down there, it doesn't really matter where I'm putting this grass, as long as I don't make it too uniform. So the eyes, at the moment I've got the eye leading down that way for grass, that way for water. Had a lot of rain while I was at lunch. Now, just to get that reflection in the water going again, it's worrying me a little bit. I need to come down to quite a flat brown. Got to get that brown colour. At the moment, the colours are much brighter than what you see outside. I give you that. Just going to see what I can do, how I can mix this brown colour properly. I'm making a bit of orange, a bit of the. I've got the colour somewhere here. Hang on. Just so that you know, I do have the proper names, and I'm using transparent Peridone orange. They're all Atelier. Nearly all my paints are Atelier brand, but I'll mark that below. So I'm going to take some browns and add them to this mix. Just going to keep going until I feel I've got it. Some umbers, a couple of burnt umbers I've got there. Dulling it down a bit. Yep, now I'll add a bit of white to it. A lot of white to it. Bring that back. Sometimes I'll put it on a piece of paper, even on a plate. Hold that up, see how far off I am, and I think I'm a mile off because I think I need a lot more yellow. Find a clean knife. Okay, I'm going to put a lot more yellow out. So basically, I'll cover that up. With my technique here, my paints are all ready to go, but I still need to just pull them out bit by bit to use. A little bit frustrating or slow, but works for me. Okay, so I'm just trying to get a few colours. Happier with that. Happier with that one. I've gone yellower, I've gone paler. Now I'll mix it up so I've got a decent batch. What I'm going to do is come around like this. Now, put it right in there. This is the mud colour. Pull it down. Need to go out to the edge here. I've been a bit mean on the dam on this side. I need to make it wider. And the same one here. I'm letting some of the yellow I had underneath show through. I'm not going to cover it completely. And I'm going to get some white on my brush now and blend that white back in again. In various places. Quite reflective now. So I'm just doing what I can see out there. I'm not standing back and saying, is it right, is it wrong? I'm just going straight for it. I've got a slightly dirty brush, which I'm happy about. It's deliberate. It's not a pure colour, in other words. So I'm just going to put some verticals in like that. Now, still don't think I've got the right colour there, so I'm going to leave it for a little while and I'll come back to it, maybe, maybe not. I'll put a little bit of the greenery in the background, reflected, like that. And I'll soften that edge quite a bit. Don't want a sharp edge in the water in that spot. Of little spots of white in there where it reflects the the rocks that were up on the shoreline. Yellow, white, and in amongst that I'm going to put some more of this mud just to show that it's still there. It's still a part of the waterways. That really dark area over there, I might just reflect that down a little bit in a minute. Okay, looks like I've used up my browns. Just get rid of that bit of paper. I'll dig out a few dark browns. Again, ultramarine. Burnt umber. I use both ultramarine blue and burnt umber so often I reverse their names. And I'll put some sienna out. So, I think I'm right there. I'm not real happy with that water at the moment, so I'm thinking what I might do is just, apart from levelling it up at the back, going to start mingling that white into it again, like I did before actually. Crushing it down with the back of the brush a little bit. That means I'm pushing hard with the heel of the brush, not the tip. That can help give you some lovely soft textures that you can't always get when you're using the tip. Now I'm using the tip and I'm just getting lines. And what's happening out there, so a little bit of light green happening there, light green happening here. Can't see anything there other than that, so I'll just touch. I'll blend those across the touch, blend them in with what was there before. The brown, there's some floating like dead leaves and things on top of that water now. It's a little bit different to what it was before, so we'll just see. Because sometimes what happens now is the bright sun will come out and then suddenly painting changes altogether. Kind of think, still having trouble up here. The reason I'm fiddling with this now is because it's wet, and I'm now painting wet in wet. If I leave it and let it dry, I'll have to sort of start again with the variations, merging them together. So I'm just going to try and get a little bit of, a tiny bit of darkness, like a neutral greeny grey here. Try and get a reflection going. Normally on a bright sunny day I'd just go for a mirror image, but in this case I can't really, can't go that dark. Okay. Right. Trees at the back next. That's going to be fun. Any of these colours that I've got mixed, there's a variety of lights and darks back there. So I'm just going to do some random verticals, not always in the same place. In fact, the the browns are in the middle. There's one tree at the side here that has got a brown edge on it. Some of these others are sort of a mid-brown colour, especially I'll put it next to the ones that I've just lightened. I love doing these vertical trees. They're so easy. Not much to them. So I'm just getting a variety of different browns on my brush, just running it up. And greys. I'll be doing greys in a minute. There are a lot of grey trees back there, which is basically, you're looking at a light blue. Okay, I'll run up a couple into the sky there while I've got this colour on my brush. Okay. Interestingly, at the back there, because I've put in such dark colours here, I can make that be the tree, and then I'm going to put in a bluey green grey as the background behind that. See how that goes. So I mix up a neutral grey, add a little bit of white to it. So like a light blue with some yellow in, of course, because there is green there. I'll just grab some yellow out of the pot. I don't think I've got a yellow brush. Knife. Close that up. So I'm just putting in a lemon yellow into this grey mix, blue grey. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to do some side action here, just to get a little bit of a line going vertical. I don't want to go straight down all over, because it just gives too uniform a line. So if you can just go sideways, sideways, that way you get a much more interesting, how do you put it, stroke, I guess you could call it. What I'll do, I've just got a spare camera. This is me being very technical, and I'll just come in close while I do this, so you can see what I mean. So I'll just do it here on that one, just the sideways, like that. I'll do one over here. Oops, this is going to be a bit of a green. So when you half close your eyes, you start to see the reverse painting thing working. I'll just add a little bit of, sometimes a little branch, a little bit of a diagonal here and there. Here I'll add a diagonal here and there too, getting a dry brush. You don't want a dry brush, you want a sort of quite a wet brush for this. Now I'm pushing hard with the heel of the brush. Where can I show you how to do that? So I've got a little bit of a random thing happening here. Push it over to there, pick it up on the other side and run it through. Starting to get that. Oh, I wonder where I picked up that blue from. Doesn't matter. Must be out of here somewhere, one of the wet parts. Later on I could go through and add bits of white, but that would sort of tell a lie in so much as I know that there's no sky behind there for a long way, many miles. So at the top here I'm going to start smoothing out this area, but I'll come back to normal viewing for that. really do think I've got a dirty lens. It's something to remember when you're using your iPhone. Keep your lens clean. Keep wiping it with a tissue. Use if you use glass cleaner, it's on your glasses. Do it on the lens, front and back, on your mobile phone. They get really greased up. Beginning to think I need to lighten up some of that background is too dark. Technically speaking, it's way too dark. So I'm going to have fun now by adding pale leaves. A little white, getting white on my palette, and a bit of yellow, blue. So just going to scribble over the top of some of these areas. This is where I'll do another close-up so you can see what I'm doing. Nope, not that one. Scumbling the brush like that, over and over, just over. This one over and over. I'm not really looking to see where I'm doing it, I'm just doing it in random places. That way, get lovely, lovely texture for trees. Okay. Now some light. I'm going to also add right at the back there again some lighter areas, just to show how far away it is. Every now and then a diagonal so that it looks like a branch coming out. This way, it's a very graphic, I find a very graphic way of doing trees. You end up with a nice hard edge. It's not really a traditional way. Oh, there you go, I've got a different green on my brush now just by chance, just by not focusing. And I'm very happy with that, so I'm just going to start, I'll speed up a little bit, start tapping it in. Some of these I'll go over the top and others I'll go behind, between trunks. Now, there will come a time when you want to do finer leaves, finer leafage, foliage. Looking for a brush, can never find what I want. Looking for a fan brush, as you could have well imagined what I'm going to do next. If you can't find your fan brush, don't be worried, you can use something else. Like a daggy old, it's not really a daggy old brush, this one. I bought it because it had irregular, it didn't have a cut off top. I don't know how you could describe that. Anyway, I'm going to start using it here in a random way to start. I'll get some more white. I think I need to go a lot lighter in some places down the back there. Especially towards the top here. So I'm just smudging that in. Right, I think that's okay. I can see a whole pile of very light areas behind those trees there. So I'm going to do one area that's sort of lightish there, and I might do another one just to balance up at the back here. Even though I said I wasn't adding white, this is not white, this is supposed to be light on the trees. So if I find I've overdone it, sometimes I can overdo this sort of thing. I'll put some at the bottom. I will come back and add the trunks in again over the top. So I'll just put a bit of foliage at the base, some of these, random. You can see how nice and loose this brush is. It's like a fan brush. Okay. No, I don't want to overdo that. It's not really my style. I tend to do more solid paint. Now, going to lighten the road at the back there as well, kind of a little pinky grey colour. So I'll mix up a little bit of pink with the white into the greys. See what I can get back to the white. I might end up having to put out more paint, more of that white. So it's quite, put a sharp top on it. In other words, a hard edge top. It doesn't have to be dead straight because it's just a piece of dirt really. Of course it's a combination of a red dirt and the blue from the sky reflecting into it. It's making it that little bit pinkish in real life. I don't know what your photograph will end up looking like, but that's how it is. And that, while I've got that pink on my brush, I'm going to come back here, add it to this foreground area because it's the same sort of reflection of the sky. Once it gets wet, it'll be blue, but while it's just wet earth, not reflecting too much, it just looks pink. Okay, so I'm going to need some more white on my brush, I think. Done enough on the trees at the background for this stage. More white. And clean some brushes, clean some. White over here. Yep, got a bit of brown in it, it's got a bit of green in it. What the heck? Okay, I might start getting a bit more organised now because I want to keep these brushes, these palette knives ready to go. So as I start getting closer to the end, I speed up a little bit. Now, I'm going to add a touch of, while that area there is still wet, I'm going to push in some white paint into it to just give it that feel of it's up high, it's getting the light. And to tell you the truth, there's a fair bit of detail in it too, so I don't want to be too smooth with this white. I want a little bit chunky. I'll bring it down into the foreground. Okay. I don't know if it needs it in there, but I'll just, for the sake of reflection, accuracy, a little bit of that pink in that water. Now, I'm going to do a very light blue at the foreground here to just get back my feeling of the white water going down. Bluer. I think I might just grab tissue, excuse me, blowing nose. I think I might just grab really bright. Okay. Start using a rag, more serious. Right. Is it blue enough? Is it the right blue? It's going through my mind. I'm thinking, because of the pink ground, I really do need to have ultramarine blue there. And I kind of don't want it unmixed. I want to keep it really well mixed. That's better. And the water's coming down on that side, and coming through up here, here, a bit more white into it, here, because it's closer. I can be a bit funner. Could have more fun with it. Okay. Then this is just assuming the sun is still, I mean the rain's still pouring, but it's not at the moment, it's stopped. It's a little bit frustrating. So now, what I'll do with that in a minute. Okay, I said before I didn't want the blue separated from the white, but I think I do now. I think I'll come down later and just see if I can make that work, or I might overpower that with grass. I'm not sure that's the right thing that I've done there. I think I need more sort of, how would you put it? I think I need to put more mud in around here. These are not streams, this is just water running down my yard when it was raining. So I'm working a little bit from memory here. And you know what, if I had tons of time I could get photos out and go through the photos, but I kind of like, I mean, well, I want to get this painting finished, of course. I don't want it to take 2 days, but it's one of those, I just have the fun of doing it plein air, doing it quickly. That's what I love. Okay, so we're going to have some fun now with these trees. In these 2 trees are going to be good fun, and I'm just going to bring some brown into these blues at the front because they're a bit unnecessary to have them that blue. That's the shadow that I'll just leave poking through here and there. I'll just let that run thin there. Blue over here. It's going to run it into that. It's going all the way down through those clumps of grass. A little bit running down that side. Oh yeah, there was a stack before going into the water. So the only reason it's blue is because it's reflecting. There's a rock there. I don't know if I'll put that in. It's sort of a light blue. It's a grey rock sitting the side there. Just see if it works. If it doesn't, I'll paint over it. That's the beauty of this type of thing. Okay, I'll see later. A little bit of grass around it, see if that works. Kind of yes, kind of no. It has some little details of the sides going down into the water there. Going very dark. I shouldn't really do that. That's a bit naughty of me, but every now and then I do naughty. A bit more that side. I don't know if that's looking a little bit too symmetrical. Have a look at that later. They're the sort of things I will come back later and change. Just paint right over them and fix it up. So I don't get, that's why you don't get anxious about painting. You just think, oh, I'll do it. And then I'll walk away from it, and if it doesn't work, I'll come back later and fix it up. It's easy to fix this acrylic. So I'm just putting in this bright green grass. It's going a bit nuts with all that water over it. I don't think my grass is used to water, so sort of pops up a little bit and puts up iridescent green colours. So here I've got a combination of blue and yellow. The cobalt turquoise. Yeah, no, it's the. Hang on. Cerulean. Sorry. Just leave it with me. I know what I'm doing. Okay, so this is all getting a bit. It shouldn't be that dark, but let's see. Come back lighter. Always come back lighter. And one of the main things I'm going to pop out now is going to be the beautiful Angofra, and I've got some nice pinks here already on my palette. So I'm mixing beautiful white pink. Now we've got two colours here. A couple of colours. We've got the grey and we've got a lovely peach. But I'll just start by putting in pink as a middle colour between the grey and the peach. I'll just put it in a very random scrubby way. There's one other tree back there that's also an Angofra, so that's this one. So this will have the same pink. Now in the foreground one, I'll go back to, I'll mix up this lovely orange, yellow, white. So real flesh, suntanned flesh colour on this one. And in a random way, just very thick on my brush, pushing it in. Just a quick to let you know that this is the section that I've just finished the bulk of it. The next section will be the final finessed part. So stick around and I'll see you in the third one.